What's good, Dragon Swords? Today, I have some big news for you, and we're going to dive into it. Believe it or not, it is 5:32 a.m., so I'm pretty tired. The live stream started at 10 p.m., and we'll get into it in deep description, but basically, I'm about to crash out, so I've done the best that I can of my abilities to give you the most accurate information that was discussed in the live stream and discussed in the chat of the live stream, because there was a moderator who's a part of the dev team who was filling us in with answers and re-clarifying things. So I wanted to cover that, and I'm going to be covering it through my Discord because, you know, I'm really tired. I could have made a PowerPoint, but hey, that would have taken hours more, and I have to do other things to be a CC for this video, right? So rather than do all that and waste more time, I figured I would just give you guys the down low of what's going on in the coming weeks, months, and years. So yeah, let's just start. I'm gonna keep my Discord this small. If you want to join my Discord, you can come over here and you can find the announcement here down here in the guide section in these colors. Basically, it's the first category that's red. So this is the Dragon Sword Awakening news collected by category. I've separated it in several categories, like 4-ish. So I think it'll be helpful for you to consider. So as of today, 8/10, which technically it started on August 9th, 2 weeks after Dragon Sword Awakening's launch, here's the disclaimer that we're going to start with. First of all, this list was compiled through the developer's statements, translated on screen by AI, and a moderator translating to English through AI in chat. In many cases, they were direct quotes or direct paraphrases accurately stated. The subtitles on the stream were quite difficult to read, believe it or not, because long sentences were often on screen for as little as 2 seconds. Beyond the speed in which they disappeared, the AI translational subtitles often had translational errors, so at times inferring by context and later discussions clarified previous statements. Basically, I had to infer by the context of the chat and previous discussions clarified things. Lastly, this list was taken from the first 4 hours of watching the live stream and actively participating in the chat, and was finally completed and organized up until 5:35 a.m., right? With additions to the list below during the next 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, really, of screenshots clipped in the official Discord and less comprehensive lists compiled by other viewers in the Discord. With all this being said, these things are subject to change to some degree on the developer's discretion, but I have worked my hardest to give you an accurate picture of what to expect from the present day into the next year. If you would like to watch all 8 hours for yourself and read chat for further clarifications from the moderator, a dedicated edited version of the live stream broadcast will be uploaded and translated into English, Chinese, Japanese, and other languages. Lastly, a summary roadmap will be posted as soon as possible, which was posted 6 hours into their stream, and I will link that in the description below. But lastly, here's a word from the developer himself, JYJ. Quote, "The project team consists of 40 people. And the biggest difficulty is that everything is difficult. The fact that we have launched at all is nothing short of a miracle. So, as we read through these notes, as my last video originally said, chill out, be kind, and thankful for what you have and what you are being given. And support the devs in these steps of victory for a new budding business. My little categories here will be separated by emojis, just to let you know. Alright, so the first one is general in-game features, additional consoles, and bug fixes. And I'm just going to read them off, and maybe I'll add a little bit of comment here or there. But basically, I'm going to try and make this video as short as possible. So lots of new content will be here by December. A big update will be happening in October. There will be a new patch update at least once every week. This upcoming Thursday will be the next patch that is focused on quality of life changes and removing inconveniences as their top priority. Gathering materials and dungeon rewards will be increased by roughly 2 times to 3 times more. There will be no more treasure box opening after killing bosses. The items will just appear in our inventory. So that's a quality of life, less interaction and saving of time, now that we don't have to heal at statues in between dungeons anymore. Next, a photo mode is coming at some point after October, most likely. They plan to increase the number of familiars that can be earned in-game. That is key. That is something they specified. The issue where Astria's projectiles fly towards abnormal directions will also be fixed to some extent. The developers are planning to remove the character growth material system, where characters are leveled by feeding them items such as books. Familiar stamina, mount stamina, is planned to increase based on the player's mercenary group level, or rank. Lock-on improvements are currently in development and are intended to be completed as soon as possible. A perfect dodge system, or just dodge system, is currently being implemented, and a walking feature for the characters is also planned alongside the just dodge update. Lastly, in bold here, we have PS5 and Switch, by implication, is still in the research phase. They are not at the point where they can give details yet. However, they have commented more on Nintendo Switch by saying, quote, A Nintendo Switch 2 release would be difficult. Due to Nintendo's policies, it is not easy for a newly established developer like us to open the doors to Nintendo. End quote. Alright, next category. We have voice acting and quests. First off, English voice acting and dubbing is planned to finalize sometime in December. Japanese voice acting and dub would be their next priority, but will likely be next year. Now, direct statements were made simply on just the English dub and the Japanese dub, but this was in a context that was closely spoken about within the dubbing context, right? So they were talking about English voice acting and Japanese voice acting, something that they would love to do, would like to do, plan to do, and then they shortly after talked about dubbing. So I've combined it in one sentence here. Voice acting for hero quests is also being considered, but it is a lower priority than the main story quest. Future quests will be designed with more consideration after complaints about excessive errand fetch quests. So, quality of life in the content of the quests. Your mercenary rank will increase in the future. Okay, so that's kind of an implication that we're going to get more story. A small story update is planned for December. A much larger main story update is planned for next year. They plan to wrap up the entire story of all 6 true dragons by some point. Okay, and then here is something that the person who posted this statement, their plan for, you know, wrapping the 6 dragons, is what this person said. So he or she said, judging by the amount of content in the main story, only 2 true dragons have died so far. Spoiler alert, here we are. But if you're watching this, you're getting a lot of them, so be ready. There's still the Arugal and Largo storyline, Pingduck, and the stories of the true dragons that haven't even appeared yet. I honestly don't see how they can cover all that and still reach the ending. So, this is just a statement by a guy, not the developer. Take it with a grain of salt, obviously. Sky Island is scheduled to release sometime next year. They said it's difficult to give an answer about how much content Sky Island will have since it's still in development. Will Sky Island DLC be paid content? They said it's also difficult to answer that question right now, but judging from the circumstances, it seems likely that it will be a paid DLC. There's also a possibility that Sky Island won't be released all at once, and could instead be released in multiple parts. But Sky Island will likely be the final chapter. And then they made a specific statement based on that, and the moderator said, what I mean is that the story will conclude on the Sky Island. As for what comes after Sky Island, that's far in the future, and we can't predict it. We're mercenaries, after all. And that's it for Category 2. Category 3, I have kind of separated within itself. 3 individual categories, really. But the first one is no plans. The second one is top priorities. And then the third one is character updates. But I merged the last 2. So, no plans. They have no plans for creating Loot Awakened Mode character. They also have no plans to reset the Tower of Trials. They have no plans for PvP or leaderboards of any kind. No collaborations with anime, games, or other developers are currently in the making right now. But again, it is 2 weeks after the launch, so I'm sure it will happen at some point. Take that with a pinch of salt. There are no plans for new music in the open world, cities, or inside the buildings. This may and hopefully will change with the map expansion. No plans for a housing or fishing system. Okay, now to their top priorities and character updates. So making characters is among their highest of priorities. So if there's anything for sure, they're going to be making plenty of new characters, which means new team combinations and new gear combinations, most likely. New outfits is also a top priority that they plan to add constantly. The bodyguard outfits are currently one of the projects they're working on right now, which they showed on stream, so I will show you them here. Okay, so here's one of them. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. Sorry if it's a little bit blurry. It was a screenshot. So this is Reyna, and I'm guessing this is the bodyguard outfit. Here's another one with Eileen. Okay. So going back here, 4 characters, as we saw from the previous live stream, are currently in development, shown, like I just said in the previous live stream. Ryza, Jerome, Veronica, and Logan. Ryza is targeted to release sometime around late September, in sometime, or sometime, so let me, again, I'm tired. Ryza is targeted to release sometime around either late September or sometime in October. That's as much clarification as we have. Jerome, Veronica, and Logan are targeted to release in December, which is interesting. All three of them. And they've said that a couple times now. Okay, so since we're talking about Ryza, I'll just go ahead and show you this. It was confirmed that Ryza is a shock unit, but she's also an air unit. Yeah, she can work with Reyna, and she's a knockdown unit. So plan accordingly with your teams. Also, this came up a bit. I did ask about this. I asked a lot of questions, actually. Lyn may become playable. Do you know who Lyn is? If you don't, you're missing out. Lyn may become playable, but if she does, it might be sometime next year. New character acquisition animations are also being planned as well. And lastly, and this is a direct quote, a newly designed Roxy is now in progress. And I'm not sure if this is a character rework or a new outfit design. Most likely a new outfit design. But they did also leak this, which is one of their other characters in development. So I'm guessing it's a guy here with a guitar, and his guitar seems to turn into a spear. So interesting concept. We have another picture of him. And this is what he looks like. So that's that for characters. Lastly, I think I forgot to include another picture in here, but we've seen it from the previous live stream, but I will just remind you. Let me find it really quick. Right here. So these are who we are looking at for the next characters coming up. Ryza will be in either late September or sometime in October, and then Jerome, Veronica, and Logan will all come in December. So we got a tank, basically, with a huge shield. We got a little guy with a big broadsword, and Veronica, she uses her fists with a pistol, and Ryza uses a spear. So that's what we're looking at for characters. Okay, next category. We are now looking at map expansion, co-op, world bosses, combat, gear, and endgame content. And it's not all in that order, it's just in there, So we'll go through it. So map expansion is currently planned for the second half of next year. Remember what we said at the beginning of the video before we start complaining. World bosses and random missions will be changed from a daily cycle to a roughly a 2-hour cycle. And I think they're going to incorporate this pretty quickly. Open world co-op is in the plan, but likely not soon. Combat. Quote, each monster, and this is important, each monster has different resistance values, and each character accumulates status effects at different rates. Certain characters may have poor matchups against certain monsters. Now, usually this last sentence, usually games note that down for you, but Hound13 is all about allowing us to discover things in Dragon Sword Awakening. So this is something we're going to have to discover. But it's good to know that certain characters accumulate status effects at different rates, so that's something we can test. And we can also test the resistances of certain enemies, bosses, monsters, whatever, from different status effects. And what I said also, so that was a direct quote from the moderator, by the way. Here's the moderator, Hound13, wow, okay. And I said, this is more information to compare to the physical and elemental status effects in the help button on the menu. They do have plans for Endgame and repeatable content, including higher difficulty, quote-unquote, extermination modes. I don't think we have that yet, extermination modes. Endgame content will consist of Tower of Trials, Nightmare Extermination, and raids. I asked a couple of times about rifts, but was not given a response. As a whole, however, they have determined that further endgame difficulty is needed, so they are considering when and how to incorporate that. They will be updating raid loading screen times, hey, that's good news, and raid lobby features soon. I think it's an active plan, honestly. As the moderator said, we are continuously improving raid matchmaking. So there you go. Let them cook, right? They're also working on adding a raid retry button for parties. I notified them directly a few times, not only in the chat, but also in the official Discord by pinging the chat moderator and telling them in the chat of the stream, like, hey, I have made you guys a list of suggestions, basically, for raid improvements. And looks like someone has responded here. They said, thank you for sharing your valuable feedback and issues. As I've been managing both the YouTube translations and personal work simultaneously, I wasn't able to check Discord in time. I apologize for the delayed response. I will pass this along to the person in charge. Thank you once again. Can I? Of course I can't. Let me just put a heart. Okay, so, and I mentioned a lot of things in there, thorough things. If you want to read them, you can go to the official Discord and go to localization feedback, and my post was raid improvements needed. Anyway, back to our list here of updates. In regards to raids, besides the raid retry button for parties, they plan to shorten the combat phase of Ursula, or phases. They plan to shorten the combat phases, plural, of Ursula, including reducing the wind path riding section and cutscenes in her raid. That reminds me, I did bring up a couple times at the beginning of the live stream about some of the lack of audio, music, and like background noises in the last chapter. So they're aware of that, and I think they will probably fix it. Raids will not get more participants added. I'm guessing someone wants more than 3 people with 9 total characters to fight the boss in there. And this last point I boldened because it's super important, and it's something for you to consider even in light of my last video. Quote, at this point, we are not able to give a definitive answer regarding adding new weapons or armor. This is from a question that I asked. That said, we do plan to rebalance existing weapons and armor. That means Earth Shatterer. So they know about it, and they're planning on rebalancing it. And based on what we've already read above, with the patch, the update coming this Thursday, it might happen as soon as this Thursday. Or it could happen shortly after, right? But either way, it's going to happen, and that means we need to get farming right now for those of us who have Earth Shatterer, so we can collect as much runes as possible before we have to start re-gearing. If you were smart, you knew this was going to come, and you were saving pieces of armor that could be viable, like I was. I mean, it's just a no-brainer, right? Something that's broken like that is going to be balanced. Okay, after that, that's basically all of my notes. But they did provide a short stream summary, which I will link in the description here. A post-launch roadmap and Q&A, right? And so they post this little video here, which is 42 minutes. I'm guessing this is the summary. I haven't watched it. Here's the new hero lineup, like we've already discussed. Here's some other systems that they have added. So there may be additional information that is not in my list from this page. We have additions and DLC, some skins, and just kind of like an overview, really. Livestream Q&A, they've taken questions, probably the most common ones, and then additional notes. So feel free to go through and look through this as well. It's definitely not exhaustive, and yeah, I hope this list has been helpful for you. I have really tried to be exhaustive with it. Like, even right now, they are still streaming. Well, it looks like they've stopped now. Yeah, so they're done. But they've basically been streaming while I've been making this video. It's 6 a.m. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate you. And thanks for liking my videos. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve the subs that you're giving me. I'm just trying to be helpful. So hope you all have a great week. Peace out.